That's the winner of my China servo test series. Would you have thought this? But there is more than one winner and more than one loser. Check it out. Welcome to part 5 of my China servo test series. 16 servos have been tested in this series in 4 parts so far, and you will find the results and the specifications of all those 16 servos in part 1 to 4 of my test series. Servo number 1 was the super cheap Lofty Ambition MG995. Servo 2 the JX PDI 5521 MG. Servo 3 the JX PDI 6221 MG. Servo 4 the Racerstar DS 6221 MG. Servo 5 the Racerstar DC 6215 MG. Servo 6 a low body servo, the SPT 4412 LV. Servo 7 the DS servo DS 3218 MG. Servo 8 the SPT 5435 LV, 35 kilogram specifications. Servo 9 the SPT 5425 LV, crawler servo. Servo 10 the full metal case Euro AV WP26. Servo 11 the RBRC RB0126 MG. Servo 12 the Lobot LD27 MG. Servo 13 the DS servo DS3225 SG. I did already test this servo 1 year ago. Servo 14 full metal case brushless servo Euro AV BLS 1806. And my eldest servos, Servo 15 the Power HD LW20 MG and the Power HD LF20 MG. I tested all 16 servos using this test setup at different voltages for torque and for amp draw, and took a look inside, and you can see the detailed results of each servo in the parts 1 to 4 of this test series. And now in part 5 I will pick winners and losers, tops and flops, and will compare the results. For those comparisons I always took only the best result a servo did bring in one test. However, all servos did bring quite constant results, with the one exception of the Power HD LF20 MG and the amp draw, but all the other servos had really nearly constant, very similar results. So torque did not significantly decrease in second and third test. And because I want to compare the specifications of the servos to my results, I took the best result of each servo for comparing it to the company or brand specification that's given in the description. So this 20 kilogram, 25 kilogram, 35 kilogram stuff. So let's start. First, let's see how true are the factory specifications. So what's up with this 20 kilogram, 25 kilograms? Are there cheaters? Are there servos that really bring the results that are given in their specifications? And here you can see those results sorted from best to worst. And what you can see here, there are some servos like Servo 4, the Racerstar DS6221 MG, which does not bring 50% of its torque that's given in its specifications. not much better. The JX-PDI 5521 and the JX-PDI 6221, those servos bring only about 50 to 60% of the specifications given. Also the brushless servo EuroAV BLS 1806 at 6 volt brings only about 65% of the specifications given. At 7.4 volt it gives at least 70% of its specifications. However, this servo is not really a crawler servo, it's super fast, full metal case, so it's a little bit out of the normal range of servos here. Also this low body servo, servo number 6, the SPT 4412 LV, it brings 2/3 of its specifications, but it's also not a typical crawler servo. However, on the other end of the list there are some servos which even exceed their specifications, and those are strangely my two eldest servos. So the Power HD, the waterproof LW20mg, torque was 111% of the specifications, and even more the Power HD, the old LF20mg, I measured 115% of its specifications. But there are more servos which do not cheat, which bring nearly 100% or at least 80-90% of the specifications given in their descriptions. For example, this Racer Star servo, the DC 6215mg, it's not a strong servo, but its torque is nearly the torque given in its specifications, nearly 96%. And one of the best servos in all categories, the DS3225SG, it is specified at 6 volt and at 7.4 volt with 91 and 95% of its specifications, so really good. Also the Lobot LD27mg, 90%, and even the EuroAV, the servo number 10, the WP26, at least 83%. So all those servos 80%, that's quite okay. If a specification of a servo is 20 kilograms and it brings 16 kilograms, 90% would be 18 kilograms. So not really a complaint. I expected in some servos much worse results. The strongest servo, the 35 kilogram servo, the servo number 8, SPT 5435 LV, claims 35 kilograms at 6 volt, but it did bring only about 25 kilograms, so 73%. It's still the strongest servo in these tests, but it's far from its specifications. But what we are mostly much more interested in than in the specifications, and if those are true or false, if those servos are kind of cheater servos or not, what is the maximum torque those servos bring, and what most of us are mostly interested, what's the torque they will bring at 6 volt, because most of the servos are no high voltage servos, and most of us will use 6 volt BECs, which most ESCs have. And additionally to the torque, of course, the amp draw is extremely important, because most ESCs with 6 volt BEC do have a BEC that can only deliver 2 ampere, and some better, a little bit more expensive ESCs, like for example the Hobbywing 1080, to have a BEC which can deliver 3 ampere. So 2 ampere is probably the ampere most of the BECs in ready-to-run crawlers will deliver. I don't know of any ready-to-run crawler which comes with a stronger BEC or an ESC with a stronger BEC, but the new Red Cat which comes with the Hobbywing X system, okay, but that's not a typically ready-to-run crawler. And so let's check now the torque. The servos will deliver at 6 volts, and here you can see the chart, and the strongest servo is still the 35 kilogram servo. However, it did not deliver its 35 kilograms, but only a little bit more than 25 kilograms, 354 ounces inch. On this chart you will find the kilograms centimeter at the bottom and the ounces inch scale at the top. So the SPT 5435 LV is the strongest servo in this test. However, it's not much stronger than many of the other servos that do not claim 35 kilograms. The second strongest servo in the test was the Power HD LF20MG. Very old servo, I do have for several years now, at 6 volt, 23 kilograms, 320 ounces inch, and the DS servo DS3225SG at 6 volts, 23 kilograms, 317 ounces inch. And if we go down, we find the second old servo, the Power HD LW20MG with 20 kilograms, the EuroAV WP26 with about 20 kilograms, 277 ounces inch, but also the servo number 11, the RBRC RB0126MG brings 20 kilogram, nearly 20 kilograms. This crawler servo, the SPT 5425 LV, and down to servo number 12. Where is it? Here, the Lobot 27MG, which brings a torque of 18 kilograms, 250 ounces inch. So down to this servo, you could call those servos really strong servos suitable for crawlers. Then there are some servos in the center with only about 13 kilograms, which are probably not much stronger than many stock servos. And at the bottom you'll find some servos that are really weak and do only bring about 50-60% of its specifications. The weakest servo is the low body servo SPT 4412 LV, which only brings 8 kilograms, about 112 ounces inch, but however that's not a real crawler servo. You would use this more in a touring car. And also the brushless servo EuroAV BLS 1806 does only bring about 10 kilograms at 6 volts. However, this servo is super fast and it's not a typical crawler servo either. The super cheap servo number 1, the Lofty Ambition MG995, brings about 10 kilograms, but nobody will complain about its 10 kilograms, what's about 137 ounces inch, because it's so super cheap, and 10 kilograms will be okay for many applications. I use it, for example, in a Tamiya Beetle, and it works fine, and only $5. Its specifications say 15 kilograms, but $5. Who will complain? I will complain more about the 36221 mg and 5521 mg servos. The servos number 2, 3 and 4, which are really weak. The Racer Star, this Racer Star, there's a better Racer Star servo too. The Racer Star DS6221 mg with 10 kilogram, and the two JX servos, the Servo 2 and 3, where are they? JX PDI 6221 mg and JX PDI 5521 mg. Those servos bring 10, 11, the 6221 13 kilograms, but they are not really upgrade servos for a stock crawler in most cases. So they are really disappointing. Wouldn't recommend those three. But what's probably nearly as important as the torque a servo can deliver is the amp draw. And on this chart you can see the amp draw at 6 volts. And check this out, there's a huge difference. The 35 kilogram servo draws 4.4 amps at 6 volt, so a normal BSC will not be able to deliver those amps, and you will need to use a external BSC with at least 5 amps to get the full power of this servo. And then there are many more servos that draw more than 3 amps. Check the lines I made. I made a line at 3 amps and at 2 amps. 2 amps is the amps most ESC will deliver with their BSC. So you will find only few servos which will be able to bring their full power with a small 2 amp BSC. And that's why I named this servo in the beginning. Surprisingly, this Lobot LD27MG, the servo number 12. Check this out. It at 6 volts it showed by far the lowest amp draw, and that was not a single test. I tested it 3 times. You can check the videos. It's in video number 3. 1.43 amps and still 18 kilograms. So wow, this servo would be a good upgrade servo for most ready to run crawlers if you want to use stock electronics, stock ESC. And the super cheap $5 servo, the MG995, also only draws about 2 amps. And then the next line, 3 amps. There are few servos drawing less than 3 amps and many servos that draw a little bit more than 3 amps. And again we will find that the DS servo, the DS3225SG, does not draw a lot of amps at 6 volts, 2.4 amps, and it's really strong. So this servo again did really very good. But now let's check the next chart, which will probably be the most important chart of this video. Check it out. I will compare the torque and the amp draw. And here you can see it, and on the right side you will find the amp draw at 6 volts with the lines 2 amp and 3 amp, and on the left side the torque in ounces inch and kilograms centimeter. There are few strong servos that draw less than 3 amps. Number 1 again, the DS3225SG, but also the servo number 12, the Lobot, and the RBRC, the servo number 11. You find the numbers of the servo on the left and on the right side, which comes in a nice plastic box and is also quite strong. A 3 amp BSC will be fine for this servo. So, but again, check this chart out, and if you plan to buy an upgrade servo for your crawler, check your BSC and think about it. Not only kilograms or ounces inch are important, not only the torque, also the amps the servos will draw. And if you use a servo that draws a lot more amps than the BSC can deliver, you can run into some problems, stalling of the steering of course, but also it can affect your lights if you have a light controller, if all the power goes to the servo. So this chart is essential for choosing the right servo. If you have a 3 amp BSC, of course many of those servos draw a little bit more than 3 amps. They won't be much weaker at 3 amps and they will work fine. However, the 35 kilogram servo, the SPT 5435, is the only servo of all of those servos which will be probably urgently need a stronger BSC than normal ESCs do have. And I did test 4 high voltage servos in these tests. You will find them here, the servos 10, 12, 13 and 14. And on this chart you can see the results of those servos at 7.4 volt. For example, the Hobbywing 1080 ESC has a BSC which can deliver 7.4 volt. And what you can see here, that the servo number 12, again the Lobot LD27MG, that's a high voltage servo, but it's not waterproof, draws only 1.4 amps, so that's fantastic. I don't know why this servo does need such little amps to bring its power. Wow. And that's why I named it first in winners. But extremely interesting also the DS servo DS3225SG again. That's this servo. I did already test last year and check it out. At 7.4 volts it draws less amps than it does at 6 volt. What one would expect, but none of those servos did it. So 23 kilograms, 320 ounces inch, 1.7 amp. This is a fantastic servo. Waterproof, very well built, so highly recommended. And the 2 Euro AV servos, this is the high speed servo at 7.4 volt. It doesn't draw such a lot of amps, but still more than 3 amps, but it's super fast. And the WP26 does draw more than 4 amps. That's a little bit a disappointment for me, because I do have more than one of those servos, the WP26. I like this servo really because I think it's beautiful. It's so well built. Check the video where I disassemble it. It's waterproof, it has a full metal case, and I really like this servo. But in those tests I found, okay, it draws quite a lot of amps, so that's the only downside of this servo. Otherwise I would highly recommend it, and if you use an external BSC, I still highly recommend this servo because the build quality is fantastic. And if you take a look inside how well everything is sealed, I really expect it to be waterproof. Strange thing with those 2 Euro AV servos, they are probably related to build quality the best servos in those tests. At least I found this, but those are the only 2 servos that come simply packed in a plastic bag. What's quite strange, all the other servos come in a, or most of the other servos come in a box. The RBRC servo comes even in a nice plastic box, and the full metal case high quality Euro AV servos come only in a simple plastic bag. So if you are looking for a high voltage servo for your crawler, the Lobot and the DS servo, highly recommended. but if you have a stronger BSC, the WP26 waterproof. The only downside of the low volt high voltage servo, you can run it on high voltage and on 6 volt, but it's not waterproof. You would have to waterproof it yourself. And now let's pick some winners and losers. I have grouped the servos in 4 groups here. Of course, my results, they are not really technically or scientifically correct, because I only tested one servo of each type and my setup for sure was not sufficient. However, I will try to judge the servos I had and will put them into different categories. First, there are those really disappointing servos. Those are the servos number 2, 3 and 4. Those are the servos 6221MG from JX Servo and Racer Star, and the 5521MG from JX, the PDI 5521MG. They draw a lot of amps and they are really weak compared to their specifications, and there's not a really advantage of those servos. They are crap cheap, that's the only advantage. Then I have a group of 3 servos which are a little bit different category. The servo number 1, the MG995, who will complain? That's a $5 servo, so I wouldn't call it bad. It brings 10 kilograms. It does not draw a lot of amps, only about 2 amps at 6 volts. So I highly can recommend this servo for simple applications. Of course, it's not your crawler steering servo. And the low body servo, the SPT 4412LV, it's also not a crawler servo. It's far below its specifications. It draws more than 3 amps at 6 volts. So not really a recommendation. Different story is this brushless Euro AV servo, the 1806. It's not strong, but if you checked the video, it was in part 4 of my test series. It's extremely well built and it seems to be super fast and smooth. So it will not be your crawler servo, but maybe for some other types of RC cars. And there are more types of those Euro AV full metal case brushless servos. There are other types which are much slower but higher torque. Maybe those would be servos for a crawler. I really like the way they are built. They seem really well built. And then there are some intermediate servos. Those are the servos 7, 5, what's that, 9 and 8. The servos are not very strong. They draw a lot of amps. There is not really a advantage of those servos. Maybe the DS 3218MG, it does draw less than 3 amps, and that could be a servo that would be suitable, but it's only 13 kilograms of torque. That's not a lot. And the 2 SPT servos draw a lot of amps. This 25 kilogram crawler servo 5425LV is number 2 in amp draw of all the 16 servos tested, and the 35 kilogram servo 5435LV is number 1 with far more than 4 amps. So wouldn't use this servo with a normal ESC, with a BSC integrated in an ESC. However, that's the strongest servo in the tests. But there are better ones. And here in front you'll find the servos I picked up, which I think are the winner of my tests. First of all, my 2 very old Power HD servos. They are the only servos in the test that by far exceed their specifications, so they are stronger than the factory tells us. That's of course quite strange. Both draw a little bit more than 3 amps, so that's the only downside. The LW is waterproof and it's a really reliable servo, and it's very, very popular. The LF is the only servo that showed different values in amp draws. So I used for my charts here the highest amps this servo drew, but check the video out, it's part 4 of my test series. In other tests it drew much less amps, so this could be a fantastic servo too. So both of those servos get a recommendation of mine. You shouldn't use the weakest BEC for the LW20MG. And thumbs up, they could be specified 25 kilograms or whatever too. And then the Euro AV WP26. If you do have a strong BEC, high voltage, waterproof, really strong, but it draws a lot of amps. The only downside, full metal case. I do have 2 of those servos, but now I know they need a strong BEC. And a further recommendation, the RBRC RB0126MG W also gets a recommendation. It's really well built, it's waterproof, and it comes nicely packed in a plastic box. It brings 20 kilograms, real 20 kilograms, 276 ounces inch, and you will be fine with the Hobbywing 1080, which has a BEC that delivers 3 amps. So thumbs up for this servo. And now there are 2 servos left. The Lobot LD27MG. I did already show it in the beginning. The biggest surprise for me, I didn't know this company. I only bought it because I was interested in it. It had a good price. But wow, only downside, it's not waterproof, but it's strong, 18 kilograms at 6 volts. That's okay. And the biggest advantage of this servo, it draws only very little amp. Check the charts again. So wow, if you do have a crawler that and want still to use the stock ESC, which only has a BSC normally with 2 amps, this servo would be a good choice. 18 kilograms, 250 ounces inch, 2 amp BSC, sufficient, price good. Only downside, if you want, so it's not waterproof. And the second winner, I don't know which one of those 2 to choose. Probably the DS Servo 3225 SG again. That's the servo I did already test last year, and I would call it winner because it's high voltage if you want. You can use it on 6 volts. It does not draw a lot of amps. You can use it with a 2 amp BC. Probably at 6 volt it draws a little bit more, 2.4, 2.5 amps, but at 7.4 volts it draws less than 2 amps. So fantastic, one of the strongest servos in the test, waterproof, 6 volt, high voltage, and low amp draw compared to nearly all other servos. So my 2 winners, the Lobot and the DS Servo. And few more recommendations, but check my videos and see what's important for you and what's less important and what's more important for you, and make your decision. However, I hope this video series could help you a little bit by choosing the right servo for your crawler, the right cheap China servo. But we also know that many or some much higher priced brand servos do often not bring the torque they are labeled with. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. I'll be back.